Olympic Games, Paris 2024.
With Kelly Kitts.
From BBC Radio 5 Live.
Hello, welcome back to the Stade de France. Next up, it's the men's 200 metres semi-final. Over the next 30 minutes or so, we'll see the likes of 100 metres Olympic champion Noah Lyles, world number 2, Kenny Bednarek, who is in the first semi-final that's about to take place. Alison Kirbishley and Catherine Merry are here. So we have to sort of call him Kung Fu Kenny here, don't we, Alison? That's his preferred nickname.
It is. Did you ever call your dad that?
No,
Kung Fu Kenny.
I don't think he was ever that agile.
Basically, he always wears his headband, and he has a different headband every time he races, and it's just his thing. And Kung Fu Kenny never managed to get onto the podium in the 100 final, but this is his better event. He has taken Olympic silver last time around, World Championship silver back in 2022, and to be honest, every time he comes up against the great Noah Lyles, it usually ends up in silver or bronze. So I think it's going to be tough, but as we know, the semi-final, it'll be about winning your semi-final because you want a good lane in the final. So yeah, Kenny will be hoping to just get through here. Looking at it, I mean, to be honest, he's got the defending Olympic champion in Andre de Grasse from Canada, 2 lanes inside him. He's not in the sort of shape that we've seen. He's better than I thought he'd be here, but yeah, he never managed to make it through to the final of the 100 metres. He didn't look great in the first round, but he has broken 20 seconds, and there's not a huge amount of guys who've done that this year.
So big race coming up, the first of 3 semi-finals in the men's 200 metres. Taking you through it, Catherine Merry.
Kung Fu Kenny Bednarek from the USA, and you know he gives his headband to other competitors after each race to share the love. That's how Kung Fu Kenny rolls. In lane number 7 then, semi-final number 1 of the men's 200 metres. The first 2 and the next 2 non-automatic qualifiers go to the final tomorrow. A big roar. Ryan Zizi of France in their relay team when they won the European Championship silver medal in Munich 2 years ago. The 26-year-old goes in lane number 3, and Brian Lavelle, the Jamaican, the 20-year-old who won the Jamaican schools sprint titles just 2 years ago, goes in 2. Let me just complete the lineup for you. Massawangi of South Africa, he goes in lane number 4. Andre de Grasse carried the flag for Canada at the opening ceremony. 6 Olympic medals in total. The defending champion goes in 5. Taris Orogo of Uganda, the world number 4, goes in 6. Bednarek of the USA was 7th in the 100 metres here, trying to upgrade from the Tokyo silver 3 years ago. Alexander Ogando of the Dominican Republic, he should be dangerous, under 20 seconds this year, goes in 8. And Wana McCoy, their national champion from the Bahamas, goes in 9. The first semi-final of the men's 200 metres. The gold and silver medalists from Tokyo are back with de Grasse and Bednarek. And it's a clean start, and Zizi of France out well in lane number 3, as is Massawangi, the South African, in lane number 4. But the white headband of Kung Fu Kenny Bednarek in lane number 7's moving nicely. The American leads this semi-final. Uganda with the Dominican Republic in second. But the flowing tassels of the headband of Kenny Bednarek, the American, wins the first semi-final. Really impressive. Uganda outside him, looks like he's got the second automatic spot. 20 seconds exactly for the American. That was impressive, Alison Kirbishley, and he's done and dusted, isn't he? He's got himself into the semi-final, and Andre de Grasse, the defending champion from Canada, will wait and see. He was in third with 20.41.
Yeah, that was a lovely performance from Kenny Bednarek there. A great turn. Really exploded out the box. He didn't have the best reaction time, but he worked that turn and really made ground up on Ogando right outside him, and as you said, Ogando raced him to the line, so he didn't really have the ability to switch off when he looked like he was going to. And Andre de Grasse, the defending champion, just managing to get that third spot. So we'll now have to sit back, but I'll be surprised if 20.41 gets him through as a non-automatic qualifier, but he's in that spot right now.
Alison Kirbysley and Catherine Merry are here inside the stadium. Christian Ahuragu joins us as well as Kung Fu Kenny wins that first of the semi-finals. He said, I always show up no matter what, but I don't really get that much attention. We're trying to change that tonight. He says, I'm always the underdog. I love being the underdog. I tell you someone who gets plenty of attention, Christine, and that's Noah Lyles, now the fastest man in the world officially, and he's going in the second of these semi-finals. What are your thoughts on him, first of all, as a character, and how that works within I don't know, within the whole setup, kind of, is he embraced as somebody who is raising the profile a bit maybe, or is he seen as somebody who potentially could do a bit of damage?
Well, these are very good questions. Noah Lyles, I like him. Some are not too keen on him. He's a very excitable character. And I like him because he's honest to who he is. I don't believe he's play acting. That's just who he is. And it's quite refreshing to watch athletes that are not too curbed in presenting of themselves. But I would say if we had loads of Noah Lyles, it would be a bit too much to handle. So, but I like him. I think he's a character, and I don't think he's deliberately going out to try and raise a profile. I think he's just being himself, and that's what you need sometimes.
Yeah, he's a rare specimen, and he could become an even rarer specimen if he manages to be Olympic champion at the 100 and Olympic champion at the 200. And sprinters sort of feel a bit like icebergs, and that over the course of the games, what we actually see of them is just a couple of minutes worth of performance, but everything goes in behind the scenes to make sure that those tiny details are exactly right.
Exactly, and I think Noah, he's a proclaimed very, very, very hard worker. I know he jokes around a lot, but he's someone who really values hard work, and I think people understand that.
And we're about to get underway. They're lining up for the second of these three semi-finals. Noah Lyles going in this one. Let's see, Tebogo also representing Botswana, with possibly the biggest threat towards Noah Lyles in this semi-final. Taking you through it, Catherine Merry.
Thank you very much. Well, our second semi-final athletes are lined up and ready. It is noisy on the top corner of the Stade de France, not because there's 80,000 in, because it's always noisy here. They're really noisy at the moment because, remember, the women's pole vault final is continuing. We're up to a height of 4 meters and 80, and we still have 9 athletes battling for the Olympic gold medal. So our semi-finalists have to concentrate here, and Noah Lyles has been introduced to the crowd with his fingers crossed towards the camera lens. He starts in lane number 6, and the roar is huge, and the American flags are waved high from a team that's having a great track and field Olympics so far. Erlandsson of Sweden will go in lane number 2. Aaron Brown of Canada will start in lane number 3. He's under 20 seconds at his best, but it was 5 years ago. Charamba of Zimbabwe, the flag carrier, the 22-year-old, goes in lane number 4. He is under 20 seconds this year. Joshua Hartmann of Germany, their national record holder, will go in 5. Then Noah Lyles going for that epic sprint double. You have to go back to the likes of Usain Bolt, who did the triple double. You can work it out. That's a lot of gold medals, isn't it, for the Jamaican greatest of all time. He was the last man to do the sprint double at the Olympic Games. De Sola of Italy, their Italian champion, goes in lane number 7. Letsile Tebogo of Botswana goes in 8. He was the flag carrier at the opening ceremony and the 6th fastest of all time. He's under 20 seconds this year. And Ozawa of Japan completes the lineup in our second semi-final in lane number 9. So, 2 automatic spots up for grabs. Kenny Bednarek looking very good with 20 seconds exactly. So 1 American has won the first semi-final. Noah Lyles smiling, sticking his tongue out. The heavy bling around his neck has not been removed. And he bounces up and down. And he's 1 race away from getting into the Olympic 200-metre final to continue his quest for an Olympic sprint double. He places his feet in the blocks. The hairstyle has stayed the same. The plaits are still neat. The pearls, 10 each side, going down the side of the head of the Olympic 100-metre champion. He drops his head and starts in lane number 6. The gun goes, and he's out well, Lyles, as is Hartmann of Germany, inside Lyles in lane number 5. Tebogo of Botswana moving nicely in lane number 8. He was in the Olympic 100-metre final, and it's the Botswanan that's leading the way. Letsile Tebogo is potentially going to win this semi-final. He wins it by 1 metre from Noah Lyles, 19.96 seconds, a couple of tenths outside his season's best. Noah Lyles finishes in second place for automatic qualification, but lane draws are important, Alison Kirbishley, and tell us why.
Oh, I tell you what, Tebogo then ran the race of his life. He looked so smooth. He was out the blocks like a bullet, and Noah Lyles just could not get on his shoulder at all. But as you said, the 3 heat winners will get those lanes 6, 7 and 8, the preferred lanes. They want that beautiful kind of bend. They don't want the tight bend to have to negotiate, and they want that almost that kind of that sort of slipstream into the home straight, like a kind of catapult. And 6, 7 and 8 give you that. The problem with finishing second, you're going to be in lane 4, 5 or 9. Now Noah Lyles will probably want 9, but it's not up to him now. He finished second, 20.08. Tebogo looked awesome. He really, really looked smooth. He finished outside the medals when we thought he was a potential for a medalist in the 100 metres. So the young Botswanan, only 21 years old, third quickest in the world this year, looked really, really good.
And Andre de Grasse, who was one of the non-automatic qualifiers from the first heat, was seen walking away because he will not take part in the Olympic 200-metre final, because the second and third places in terms of non-automatic spots were quicker than the first semi-final. So the defending champion will not line up, but so far 2 Americans and a very fast Botswana. Could he be the man, Kelly, that could stop Noah Lyles doing the sprint double?
Alison, I'm going to say something which is the phrase that strikes fear into the heart of all our experts, which is, can I ask you a stupid question? and the stupid question is, do sprinters or 200-metre sprinters, do they train in different lanes? Because you talked about the lane draw.
No, it is a good question. They do. They will practice and certainly do block starts. And do you know what? Kath's the better person, because I never ever did 100 and 200. But, you know, normally when you're doing reps, so you're kind of doing your 200, 300, 400-metre reps, you'd always do those in lane 1. But I think that there's certainly preferred lanes that sprinters will do. And because the ones that are hoping to win semi-finals know that they're going to be drawn in 6, 7 and 8, they will do block starts from 6, 7 and 8, just to get used to that kind of the curve of the bend. But each track is slightly different as well, and it sounds a bit odd, but some tracks have very wide, expansive bends and very short home straights, and some have very long straights and very tight bends, which is why sprinters don't like 1, 2 and 3, because getting speed up quickly and having to negotiate and hold your lane without going out your lane, it is very, very difficult. Did you train in when you were doing block starts when you were a sprinter?
Yeah, we mixed it up. 100% mixed it up, because you never know what you're going to get, and it's a psychological thing as much as anything. What about you, Christine? What did you used to train in? What lane did you have it when you won the Olympics back in 08?
I was in lane... Oh, I should know this.
I love the fact that
I was in lane 6 or 5. I think I was in 5.
Okay, and did you mix it? Did you mix it up at all? Did you always train in the same direction? Because I used to get asked a lot, Christine, do you run opposite way round the tracks to prevent injuries? And I said, well, no, because
in the winter.
Yes,
we would.
interesting.
In the winter, yeah, just to keep the balance. But yeah, definitely we'll try other lanes. But also, I think it's knowing how to angle the blocks differently as well. It's important to know how to angle the blocks when you're in the outer lane just as well when you're in the inside lane. So it's always good to have good practice in all lanes.
Christine, I know these questions seem so basic and obvious to you, but you train going the wrong way effectively.
Yeah, but it's
around
usually
the track.
for the longer
So what does that? What does it do? What is?
It's just really for symmetry, really. And I think sometimes when you disorganise the mind a little bit, you don't have the cues that you would have if you were training the normal way round. So it just forces you to focus on on the run itself and not so much the distance, because you don't really know how much you're doing sometimes. So, but it's mostly symmetry to just align the body and make sure one side is not being worked too much.
Yeah, and presumably that helps with preventing injuries and things as well.
Exactly. Yeah, that's correct.
It's fascinating to hear how athletes prepare. No, it is to hear how athletes prepare for this, and we're about to get underway in the third of these men's 200 metres semi-finals. Christine, by the way, that looks like lane 4 for your gold medal winning run. I love that. Well, that's certainly where you were when you crossed the line. So I mean, unless we've uncovered some kind of lane crossing scandal there, I think
that sounds
we're all
right.
set for that.
It doesn't matter. She finished first, all right?
Yeah. You put that one behind you.
The lane marker on her leg definitely says 4.
I know, it's a lane marker.
Yeah, I can see that. It was definitely lane 4.
I don't believe that.
About to get underway in the third of these men's 200 metres semi-finals. Catherine Merrick.
That is just fabulous, right? Eyes on the prize from Christina Horugu winning the OG. Let me tell you, you know what, I'm going to start with the athlete in lane number 4 then. Why not in this third semi-final? Because it's Wade van Niekerk, another athlete who is running in lane number 4 that has won the Olympic Games, the South African. He's the world record holder over the 400 metres with a 43.03 clocking. And he starts in lane number 4 in this third semi-final of the 200 metres. Let me give you the full lineup though. Omazarike of Nigeria goes into. Brendan Rodney's just been introduced to the crowd. The Canadian took silver in Tokyo in the 4x100 metre relay. Canada having a good championships. They won both the men's and the women's hammer here in Paris. Wade van Niekerk, as mentioned, the Olympic 400 metre champion in 2016. He has run under 10 seconds for the 100 metres. And he has run under 20 seconds at his best over 200 metres. He goes in 4. Tortu of Italy in 5. Fambule of Liberia in 6. Makaru of Zimbabwe in 7. Arian Knighton, he'll be dangerous. Just missed a medal in Tokyo. The American goes in 8. And Rian Correa of Brazil goes in 9. The camera on this occasion focusing on Fambule, the Liberian in lane number 6, has a necklace with the word bullet spelt out. He goes in lane number 6. Knighton in 8. A clean start. Knighton out well in lane number 8. As is a Zimbabwe athlete in lane number 7. Just the first 2 guaranteed a place in the final. And the American 20-year-old running smoothly and leading this one. But Manakaru of Zimbabwe in lane number 7. This is a 3-way battle for the win. Just the top 2 guaranteed a place in the final. And Arian Knighton, third at the US Championships this year, looks with a photo finish needed to have got the victory. Indeed he has, Alison. 20.09 seconds. And Fambule took second with 20.12. Afterburners ignited once again for one of the world's best.
Yeah, absolutely. Knighton had to work for that though. It wasn't as easy as he'd hoped it would be, I think. Yeah, he's such a beautiful runner when he's right into his stride, but really making the most of that lane 8 and that sort of slingshot feel as he got into the home straight. But yeah, he really did. I don't think he expected Makararu to be heading him into the home straight, and it was Fambule that came through late to just snatch that automatic qualifying. But yeah, looking at the times now, still not as many under that 20-second mark, and certainly that's not Noah Lyles as well. But I think Kenny for me looked the best out of all of them.
Ooh, you're talking headband best or
headband
technically best?
Both. I think Kenny will be going in there with. We'll wait to see the draw, but I think Kenny will get the best lane draw as well.
And an update on Wade van Niekerk, who started in lane 4. He finished 7th, the South African, in 20.72 seconds. He didn't compete at all after he'd won the Olympic title and obviously broke the world record. He tore ligaments in his right knee while playing in a celebrity tag rugby match in October 2017, much to the frustration of his coach, I can tell you. And he's continued to try and battle back the South African, but finishing out of the automatic qualifying spots in the men's 200 metres.
Catherine and Alison, thank you very much. Christina Hurgu also with us. So now we're at the end of the men's 200 metres semi-finals, Christine. Up next, the women's 400 metres semi-finals, and in the first of those semi-finals, Victoria Hurgu. How are the nerves?
Well, I spoke to Vicky earlier and she sounds calm, so that's what you need. You want an athlete who is calm, who's clear-minded. She's got a very difficult semi, but as expected, they're all going to be difficult. I think Amber's got a difficult one, Lavia's got a difficult semi, but this is what you train for. This is where you want to be. My coach would always say, if you don't want to do it, go home. But the fact is you make a choice to be there. So she's calm, she'll do the best she can. It's tough, but you have to be in the race to be able to make use of any opportunities that come your way. That's all you can do. Do the best job you can in your lane.
And obviously, Chrissy, we've got repechage here, and Vicky had to go through that. And
yes.
how was she mentally? Because she looked like a different athlete in the repechage round. She really came out and attacked it and looked great.
Yeah, I think sometimes for athletes, I can understand how maybe the first round can be quite daunting. It's almost like you need a warm-up to get going, so I was hoping that would be the case in the repechage, and she had the first day to get over the nerves and to understand, being at the Olympic Stadium. And I think also knowing that you're running for something very specifically, after you're disappointed on the first day, adds another bit of fire to you. So she did look different. I think she likes running in lane 8, and I think now she fully understands what she has to do. So yeah, I'm wishing her everything, all the best, but she's worked really hard to get here, so I'm just proud of her anyway.
That is coming up in around about 20 minutes time. It's already been a dramatic day at the Velodrome, with GB's men's pursuit team narrowly missing out on gold on the last lap. Alistair Bruce-Ball and Victoria Pendleton watched it all unfold. Ali, I said dramatic. I'm not sure there's one word that could sum up what's happened today. How would you describe it?
I mean, yeah, dramatic sort of undersells it. I mean, we billed it as an epic before the race took place. Great Britain were behind for a lot of the race, but they were suddenly coming back in the last 3 or 4 laps. The team of Ethan Hayter, Dan Bigham, Charlie Tanfield and Ethan Vernon. With 150 metres to go, I think it was a tenth of a second or something between them. I mean, it was set for a classic finish to what had been a brilliant race. And then unfortunately, Ethan Hayter at the front of the ride for Great Britain, his back wheel was just clipped as they came into the bend on the home straight. It knocked him out of his saddle. All momentum was lost, and the gold medal was lost right there. But again, Kelly, it's just fine margins in Olympic sport. Those wheels have got to be so tight, so close to get your perfect speed. Gentle clip like that, just a little touch going at that speed, and that cost them the medal.
Going to be difficult for Ethan Hayter to try and pick himself up tomorrow for the men's Omnium, Victoria. How do the team work with him, and what kind of things will he be doing to get himself in the right space to compete tomorrow?
Well, I think the biggest thing is he's got another opportunity to go for a medal. At the end of the day, I think he'll be on the path of redemption. He'll want redemption going into that and probably put in an epic performance. It was one of those unfortunate things that can happen when you're performing at the very, very top level. They've probably never had that happen to them before. They've probably had a few spills before, but yeah, it was very unfortunate. I think he'll just put it down to just you have to kind of accept it and move on, and I think he will. He'll come back stronger tomorrow.
We said it earlier on, Kelly, they weren't guaranteed gold. They weren't half a second ahead and flying for the gold medal. Australia could still easily have won that race, but it was just such a shame that everyone inside the Velodrome, everyone listening, everyone watching was denied that last 150 metres, because it was right in the mix there. And Australia took the gold, and you have to congratulate them.
And as you said, everything was close pretty much today. There were just photo finishes all over the place.
There were. We were trying to call them as well. There was even a couple of photo finishes I couldn't call at all. Like, I was like, no, I don't know who's won there. But yeah, it's been a thrilling day.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of that, Kelly, so in terms of qualification in the sprint events, good news for Great Britain. I mean, they are having a good games. You have to say that. 3 days in, 4 medals from 4 events. Individual sprint events today, Jack Carlin and Hamish Turnbull both won their third knockout race to go straight through to the quarterfinals tomorrow. So the challenges get tougher and tougher as you go through the rounds, and particularly Hamish Turnbull had a very tight one on the line, and he managed to nick that. And I'd almost forgotten, actually, Victoria, in the women's keirin, that was much earlier on today, Emma Finucane and Katie Marchant. Although Katie Marchant had to go through one repechage, they're both through to the quarterfinals as well. So, you know, in terms of an overall picture for Great Britain, it's rosy, isn't it?
It is. Everybody's heading towards the podiums, and that's what we're looking for.
It is. It's been, as you say, overall a really good start for Team GB, but we're still almost at the beginning, and there are more medals to come potentially for GB in the velodrome. So who do we look out for tomorrow?
Well, so men's Omnium tomorrow. So as we're talking about, potentially a chance for Ethan Hayter for immediate redemption. I think the one I'm really looking forward to watching tomorrow develop, Victoria, because this is an event you won at the Olympics in 2012, the women's keirin, and Emma Finucane, who's trying to do the treble here. So having won the team sprint, she's trying to win the keirin and the individual sprint. And I'm really looking forward to sort of your take on her progression through the rounds. What did you make of her today?
Yeah, so in the first round she just went out very dominant in the race. She took the lead. She just decided to sprint early, take control of the race and really dictate what was happening, and I think that was a very confident and a mature move, and it was very decisive and very clear, and I really like to see that. It's very promising going forward. I mean, it's not impossible that Katie and Emma could be on the podium, which would be absolutely incredible.
And the other thing we should mention today, Kelly, just to wrap up that action, bronze medal in the women's team pursuit. So Eleanor Barker, Josie Knight, Anna Morris and Jess Roberts against Italy in the bronze medal ride. We're behind for a long way. Had us just a tad concerned, but in the last 3 laps they knew what they were doing. Down to 3 riders, they bombed through and took the bronze medal. They were edged out in their first round race against the USA, but the USA went on to win the gold medal. They lost to a very good team, and if you think about the disruption to the Great Britain team before the games, losing Katie Archibald in June to that freak accident in her back garden, Laura Kenny retiring early this year. I mean, we've just seen them on the podium, Victoria. They look pretty chuffed.
They look really happy. Yeah, they look really happy with what they've done, and I think they should be really proud of themselves, and there's still more for this team to give. So yeah, it was a fantastic performance.
Yeah, that turnaround that you mentioned, Ali, is huge. And Josie Knight mentioned it. She said 6 weeks ago when Katie Archibald broke her ankle, I felt like my Olympic dream had gone down the drain a little bit after committing to team pursuit. So for her, when we've talked about the opportunity potentially for redemption for Ethan Hayter, but in a different way, there's been that much of a turnaround for someone like Josie Knight.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Katie Archibald was really seen as the strongest member really in the team. Like if the team was ever down, Katie would go to the front and just put in 2 or 3 laps and bring it back again. Like, she was very reliable, very calm, very experienced, and I think, you know, she is missed. And I'd just like to give a shout out to what an amazing athlete she is, and how sad it was that she didn't get to come here and compete.
I'm just wondering whether we're going to be able to hear from the women's team pursuiters in a second, because I can see them in those GB white tracksuits, and Sonia McLaughlin down in the mix zone here getting ready to interview them. So perfect timing, Sonia, let's go.
Let's go, says ABB, and they look so happy. They have their smiles as wide as the track down here, wearing these gorgeous bronze medals. Eleanor, given how that you were behind in that race for quite some time, I'm guessing you guys had a plan, right?
Yeah, let's say that, yeah. No, of course we had a plan. Our plan was actually, we hoped to be further ahead. We had 2 seconds on them from round 1. So a lot of our plan was talking about having them in sight, which didn't happen. So it was quite nerve-wracking, but I think when you're in the race, you actually can't see those margins. Like, we knew where we were based on our own pacing strategy, and that was really all we had to focus on until the last roughly kilometre, and then we started getting markers from the other team. And obviously we couldn't see them, so it did get a bit tense, but yeah, Josie brought it home for us in the end.
She did. And Josie, how much is this woman to your right, in a sense, the sort of the team captain here of you all?
Oh yeah, I mean, she's got the experience. This is her 3rd Olympic Games, and yeah, she's fantastic.
Just give us a little word, would you, Anna, about Katie Archibald, who obviously suffered that awful accident just before the Olympics. Have you been in touch with her? Have you had a chance to chat to her? Still maybe kind of feel like you are including her in this team?
Oh, for sure. She's like always a huge part of our squad. We've been keeping up to date with her with a rehab. She's been in touch, sending messages of support this week, which always gives a massive boost. You know, she's such a talent to have the message of support from Katie really means a lot. Yeah.
And you, Anna, and Jess next to you. This is your first Olympic medal, the pair of you. So Jess, how proud are you right now?
Yeah, really proud and so surreal. Like I've dreamed of these moments since I was started riding a bike. So yeah, it's amazing, really.
Because Anna, you came to cycling really late, didn't you? You were studying a medical degree at Southampton University, and look, can you quite believe where you are now?
No, it's like I've got a second life. It's really strange. And Al and I actually went to the same high school, so we've both kind of had very different pathways. To be here, stood on the podium together is very strange.
Tell me about the podium experience, Josie. What was it like? I mean, you've got a silver medal already, didn't you, in Tokyo? But I guess you never tire of it, right?
No, absolutely. And because of COVID in Tokyo, we didn't have anyone in the crowds really. So that was, like moments you dream of. And there was so many Union Jacks in that crowd. It was incredible. And all the support at home and the National Lottery players, I can't thank them enough.
And Eleanor, finally, Nico, your son, where was he? Was he in here?
He was in the crowd. Yeah, it's been a pretty amazing 3 years. I rode with him on the track with me in Tokyo, and now he's in the stands in Paris. It's been pretty incredible. It's so special to have him here with me.
Well done to all four of you. You've got your posters. More importantly, you've got your medals. Many congratulations. Kelly, that's the bronze medal for the women's team pursuit.
Sonia, thank you very much. Our thanks to Sonia McLaughlin. Thanks as well to Alistair Bruce-Ball and Victoria Pendleton in the Velodrome. Big day, as we said, again tomorrow. Team GB's Taekwondo hopefuls are going to fight tomorrow as well, with Jade Jones going in the women's 57 kilogram round of 16 and Bradley Sinden in the men's 68 kilograms round of 16. And delighted to say we can bring in three-time world champion Team GB's Olympic bronze medalist Bianca Cook. Evening, Bianca.
Hello, thanks for having me.
Well, really good to talk to you. Now, Bianca, everybody likes to be a 5-minute expert when the Olympics comes around.
Yes.
So we need to be across this new scoring system that's been introduced since the Tokyo Games, so competitors have to win 2 of the 3 rounds. This is a change, isn't it?
Yes, so the previous games that we had, it was the best out of the after the 3 rounds. Whoever had the biggest score would win. But now in the games this year with the system, it is the best out of 2 rounds. So you have to win the 2 rounds to go through. It could be 2-0 or 2-1. So it's the best out of the 3-round system, which is completely different. And after each round, it will reset back to 0-0. So it is a little bit complicated if you are new to coming into Taekwondo. But the end of the day, it's whoever's got the most points at the end of the round, and whoever wins the most rounds wins.
So almost like sets or something in tennis. It's going to be a bit more like that. But look,
yes, exactly.
In terms of British Taekwondo, it's a huge day tomorrow. Are you excited about the prospects?
Yes, it's going to be unbelievable. We have 2 of our favourite athletes competing. Obviously, my best friend and one of my bridesmaids, Jade Jones, will be going for history. She is probably going for... She could be the first athlete ever in Taekwondo to come away with hopefully another 3 gold medals tomorrow. And then, of course, we have Mr. Consistent, Bradley Sinden, tomorrow, who has dominated the weight in -68 and is going for some redemption tomorrow after him getting silver in Tokyo last Olympics. So tomorrow's going to be a good day for the favourites in Taekwondo. But like we've all seen Taekwondo before, anything can happen. Anyone can get kicked last second or, I don't know, get disqualified, get knocked out. But it's going to be some kicks, tricks, and hopefully we bring back some medals for GB Taekwondo and Team GB.
Let's talk a little bit more about Jade, because you talked about the fact that anything can happen in Taekwondo, and obviously she knows that from the loss in Tokyo. Have you spoken to her? How much can she actually use that this time around?
Yes, I have spoke to her a little bit, but she has also tried to keep away from the noise and everything, but this time she's just trying to stay focused. She knows nothing's ever guaranteed. I think in Tokyo she thought it was like all this pressure was on top of her. She was gonna have to be this one, to be the first one to come out with 3 gold medals, but this time she knows she's here. She's grateful just to be here, especially it's a young person's sport now, and she is going as the older one, as 31, so she knows how honoured and lucky she is to be there, but she definitely still has such a high chance to go out and come out the favourite tomorrow. But she's excited, she's focused, and I know she's just going to give everything she's got. So I can't wait to see her, and I can't wait to cheer her on.
I've heard a lot of athletes in different disciplines talk about that sweet spot between experience and the kind of strength and power of youth. Does Jade feel like that's where she is at the moment, that it can actually be an advantage, maybe tactically, or maybe just in terms of kind of just being able to read her opponent a bit better?
Yeah, so like you said, she's got the experience. She's been around the block a few times. She's been a few Olympics, hasn't she? So she's definitely got the experience. But the one good thing about Jade is she has got no injuries. Her body is in a fantastic position. She's physically well. She's mentally well. She has a good chance. So she's actually still like the youths going in today, and she's still got all the action. That's why she's one of the best in the sport. And hopefully tomorrow, if she does make the final, she will become the greatest player in Taekwondo. So it's just the silver that she needs to become the greatest player in Taekwondo. So hopefully she rise it up a bit more and get gold. But she's definitely in the mix with the youngsters and the experience.
Yeah, history is waiting for her. For Bradley Sinden, silver in Tokyo. He was, I mean, again, only 8 seconds off being the Olympic champion. He's got, I don't know, is it a point to prove, or do you come away as a silver medalist and think, well, I've got the silver medal. This would just be a great thing to have.
Yes, 100%. He's even openly admitted he's going for redemption. He's going for gold. Bradley is the most consistent player ever I've heard in Taekwondo, and he's definitely got a chance to go out there, prove himself, show the world what he's got, just take it one fight at a time. And I do hope he does redeem himself from them 8 seconds in Tokyo and come away with the gold medal.
Yeah, he said silver's in that wishy-washy part, which I think there'll be a few Olympic silver medalists won't like the sound of that one.
No, I think it's very hard to have a balance of like only going for gold and only being happy if you get gold. Like, you should never take it for granted. People would love and give everything, their heart and soul, to be at the Olympics, let alone come away with an Olympic medal. And I think he will always be proud deep down of his silver medal, what he's achieved. But I think it's because he knows he's capable of getting that gold. And even now, nothing's guaranteed, but he's definitely got a good chance to go out there and show the world that he's in the mix for that gold medal position.
Yeah, that's the champion mentality, isn't it? Always wanting more, always wanting a better success, always wanting the next success.
Athletes are never happy with what they've got, ever. If you've been world champion once, you want it twice, you want it 3 times. When will the number ever stop? Until your body stops. So you're always striving for the more and more and more.
Yeah, I saw Kelly Harrington after a win in the boxing last night, because she is retiring, and said, I've got no more mountains left to climb. And you're very lucky if you get to that stage where you feel like you've done it, and that's the end that you've chosen. But there's such a spotlight on Team GB and on Taekwondo at the Olympics. Is that something that both of them, that Bradley Sinden and Jade Jones will embrace, do you think?
Yeah, 100%. Taekwondo basically only gets watched every 4 years. We don't really get a look in between that. Let's not lie or kid ourselves. So this is our chance to shine, get our good kicks out, show the world what we've got, what we've been training for. And if we can get Taekwondo out there a little bit more, and it's actually a really exciting sport to watch. You just don't know what's happening. People are knocking each other out left, right and centre, kicking each other up, and I think when the Olympics come round, this is our chance to show the world and show off the sport and showcase it today. I was actually at the venue before to watch the prelims before and the semis and finals, and there was some incredible kicks and athletes going for it, going for the dream, and even I was really impressed with the sport as well. And obviously I'm a little bit biased, but this is our chance to show, and if it's a chance to go out there and show all the hard work they've done, I hope they strive and show the sport off and themselves.
And I know you're sitting next to Christine Uhuru while you're doing this interview as well.
Legend.
And Christine, I can hear Christine I can see her sort of nodding as you're talking, and especially when you're talking about being in that position of always wanting more, and about that idea of kind of inspiring and mentoring and advising the next generation. Because even though neither of you are old by any stretch of the imagination, but you have the experience. But you have the I was about to say experience, not compared to me, you're not. So I'm definitely not saying that. But in terms of experience and being able to pass that on.
It's really important. We both love our sports. We both love what we've been able to get from the sport. I think going to the Olympic Games was always going to be the highlight of our careers, and to be able to share what we know to help others in the same position, I always think it's a real honour. It's not something that's just given to you naturally or automatically. So
Definitely.
To be in that position is something that I think we all really do take seriously, and we enjoy it as well. We enjoy sharing what we've learnt and being able to, I suppose, put our different sports in some kind of spotlight.
Bianca, thank you so much for coming in to talk to us. I just want to make it absolutely clear that I wasn't calling the 3-time world champion Taekwondo player old. Don't want to start any beef with you.
I know, yeah, don't worry. You're still on my good list. I'm not going to be putting you there. But thank you, and it was a pleasure to speak as well.
Thank you so much, Bianca. Really good to talk to you. Thank you so much. We are going to start now building up to the women's 400 metres semi-finals. But before we do that, Catherine Merry, what's been happening in the field?
Yeah, quick update for you. Got 2 field event finals tonight. The women's pole vault, of course, which started 2.5 hours ago. We've got 5 athletes left in. At the moment, the gold medal is being shared by the defending champion from the USA, Katie Moon, because she's gone over 4 metres and 80. And Angelica Moser has also gone over that height of 4 metres and 80. They both have a clear scorecard, so they're currently sharing the gold medal. Kennedy of Australia and Newman are currently sharing the bronze medal as well. And in terms of the men's discus competition, this was eagerly anticipated because Michalas Alekna from Lithuania is the son of Virgilius Alekna, who is a 2-time Olympic champion from Lithuania. And Alekna Jr. is currently leading the men's discus final with a first round throw of 68 metres and 55. And that world record earlier this year in April, Kelly, he had the audacity of throwing a world record and pushing his dad down to 3rd on the all-time list.
I tell you what, it comes to all of us, Catherine. In whatever discipline it is or whatever life skill it is, it comes to all of us. Look, we're ready to go. The women's 400 metres semi-finals. Alison Kirbishley, I know, is very much looking forward to them. Christine Uhuru ahead of Victoria's participation in this, a little bit more nervous. But Christine, let's try to settle these nerves. Tell me about your sister's attributes.
Okay, so we're quite different athletes. I'm a lot longer and rangier, while she's a lot shorter than I am. We always thought she was going to keep growing at 14, and she stopped. She was so disappointed that she stopped growing. So a little bit shorter, but she's strong finisher like myself, but her speed is probably not as naturally quick as mine.
What will her ambitions be, do you think?
We have to look at personal best, season's best. This is what it's going to take. So it's a loaded race, a loaded field. Everybody's going to run their race. She has to ensure that she runs hers and do or die, fight to the line.
It is going to be a tough semi-final. Christine's nerves are kicking in, but it's not long now until it gets underway. Alison Kirbishley is here as well, watching on, and Catherine Merry is going to take us through it.
Okay then, here we go. 3 semi-finals of the women's 400 metres. The first 2 guaranteed a place in the Olympic final on Friday with 2 non-automatic qualifying spots. Skota Porcarito goes into Victoria Uhuru, around 50.59 seconds in a semi-final, getting back to her best, only 0.2 of a second off her lifetime best. Nina Kennedy has just gone over 4 metres and 85 in the women's pole vault final. Jaeger of Norway, their national record holder, goes in for. Alea Butler of the United States, second at the US Championships this year in Eugene, Oregon, goes in 5. Lieke Klaver of the Netherlands, she already has gold here, Klaver, in the mixed 4x400 metre relay. 49.58 seconds this year. She goes in 6. Nasser of Bahrain goes in 7. The 2019 world champion back in the sport after being banned for 2 years for whereabout failures. At her best, she's 48.14 seconds, but under 50 seconds again this year, she goes in 7. Rashida Adeleke of Ireland, the super talented 21-year-old, 49.07 seconds this year. Her speed over 100, 200 and 400 is getting quicker and quicker. She'll be looking for automatic qualification out of lane number 8. And Janelle Broomfield of Jamaica goes in lane number 9, third at the Jamaican Championships this year. Noah Lyles' girlfriend starts on the outside line. The first two guaranteed a place in the semi-final. Ahuragu goes in lane number 3, shakes out her legs. The long hair being put all in place down the back of the British athlete's number. Semi-final number 1 of the women's 400 metres. The camera focusing on Klaver, the Dutch athlete, in 6, and Adeleke of Ireland in 8.
Oh, that was such a long hold.
Can I just say, the holds were really long in the men's 400 metre semi-finals, hurdle semi-final, and I said that's a long hold. The starter is allowed to hold you as long as they want, but Christine, the hold of the starter there, Lika Klaver is now complaining, Christina Ahuragu, and saying, come on. That was a really long hold, wasn't it?
It's so frustrating. Very, very, very frustrating. And you just want to get it over and done with. And then you have to go through the whole process again of resettling your mind and starting again. The starter, I mean, they can hold you as long as they like, but you just hope that they don't keep doing that. They'll realise that it's actually very frustrating for the athletes.
Christy, I'm just glad that they did. They're giving a yellow card to Klaver because she went down back into her blocks. She went back down into the on your marks position because she was like, what is going on here? And actually, they probably didn't need to recall, but thankfully, because that was unfair, it really was. It was way too long a hold.
So the athletes reset. In my day, when you used to run in France, you knew there were quick starters. You're up and you're gone. We go again. Ahuragu of Great Britain and Northern Ireland goes in lane number 3. Klaver in 6. A yellow card, incidentally. There's no removal, of course. It's the red colour that no athlete wants at any games, let alone the Olympic Games. Adeleke of Ireland goes in lane number 8. Semi-final number 1 of the women's 400 metres. First two guaranteed a spot in the Olympic final on Friday. The fastest in the field then, Rashida Adeleke, the Irish athlete, won 3 medals at the European Championships in June this year. Moving nicely in lane number 8. Nasser of Bahrain, though, is flying down the back straight. The smaller figure of Nasser moving nicely in lane number 7. Ahuragu moving good as well in lane number 3. Pulling a little bit away from Scott, the Puerto Rican insider, in lane number 2. Through the 200 metre mark, Lika Klaver's got a little bit of work to do currently in 3rd place. The top 2 guaranteed a place in the semi-final. Nasser of Bahrain leads by a metre. Adeleke, the Irish athlete, 2nd at the moment in lane number 8. Ahuragu in 5th place in this first semi-final. And the efficient speed of Nasser in lane number 7 is going to win this first semi-final by 5 metres. 49.08, Rashida Adeleke dipping for the line, the Irish athlete, to make sure she gets one of the automatic qualifying spots. And Christina Ahuragu's sister Victoria looking up at the screen, and we'll get the time to you, Chrissy, as soon as we can. Nasser, though, season's best, 49.08. Wow. Adeleke, 49.95. Wow, I can hear you saying wow, Christina Ahuragu. Why are you saying wow? Just the way that it was run?
I mean, it's a stunning run, real contention. I mean, I wasn't really focusing on them too much. It's only now I'm looking back on it. But pure conviction. I like the battle between the two. I thought Adeleke might come out on top, to be honest. That's a very, very quick time. That's a very quick time.
Let's confirm those times then. Nasser, a season's best of 49.08. Adeleke in second, qualifying automatically 49.95. Ahorogu in fifth with 51.14 seconds. But the first two semi-finalists, well, Nasser and Adeleke, with two more semi-finals to go in the women's 400 metres.
Yeah, Adeleke, strong medal hope for the Republic of Ireland in the 400 metres. Christian, you were saying how fast and how well that race was run in terms of Victoria's performance in fifth place in a semi-final of that quality. Is that
she'll be disappointed,
right? Or she'll be disappointed?
She'll be disappointed. I think in a standard like this, she'll be looking for the time. Maybe you might not get the top automatic placing, but it's the performance and it's your performance, your time. So, I mean, I'm a little bit disappointed, but she did run yesterday and the day before, so I can't be too hard on her. But I think she would have liked something a bit quicker, even if she wasn't going to make it through to the final.
But it was just a stunning semi-final, Alison, and as Christine was saying, it was run at pace, and there was a great battle in it as well.
Yeah, we knew that it would be those outside lanes of 6, 7 and 8, and I think Clavo definitely was rattled by that start because her strength is usually over that first 200 metres, and she was definitely she was kind of holding back a little bit. She had a lot of work to do in that into that last 150, and the gap was growing. I was surprised, I agree with Chrissy, I was surprised that Adeleke was, if not heading Nasser, certainly a lot closer to her, and I just can't work out. I was trying to read Rashida's face, the Irish girl, whether she switched off, whether she knew she was clearly in second place, and what was it really worth battling for that win. But as I mentioned again, the three heat winners are going to get the 5, 6, 7 and 8 with the fastest second place person. So there is a reason to want to run all the way to the line if lane draws matter to you. You know, I used to always, because I never used to win my heat, be in lane 8, and actually I learned to love lane 8. So I think, you know, ultimately it's all 400 metres, we know it is, but there is a psychological game to be had if you're in one of those kind of favoured lanes. I mean, Nasser's definitely thrown herself into the mix now. It was all very much about Nikisha Price, Kazmarek and Adeleke, but now I think you've got Nasser in there now.
And we're about to go again in the third semi-final, Catherine Murray.
We are the next semi-final of the women's 400 metres. And a quick update as well on that men's discus throw competition. Michael Asa-Nekla, I told you about him, the Lithuanian, the world record holder. He's just thrown an Olympic record in round number 2 of the discus, 69 metres and 97. The Lithuanian leads. And who did he take the Olympic record off? His dad, who set it back in 2004. Let's go back on the track then. Semi-final number 2 of the women's 400 metres. The noise around the broadcast area here of the run of Nasser back on track, automatically booking her spot in the Olympic final for Friday. Semi-final number 2 then. Manuela of the Czech Republic will go in 2. Onajubewu of Nigeria will go in lane number 3. Google Valley of Austria will go in lane number 4, a world indoor finalist in Glasgow earlier this year. Alexis Holmes of the USA, the 24-year-old, under 50 seconds this year, ran an epic mixed 4x4 relay leg at the World Championships last year in Budapest, challenging Femke Bol. Bol fell. Holmes and her team took the world title. Marilde Polino of Dominican Republic. She is the flag carrier at the opening ceremony a few days ago and was the world champion last year. Polino took Olympic silver in Tokyo 3 years ago, just been introduced to the crowd. Lavia Nielsen from Great Britain and Northern Ireland, the British representative in this second semi-final. Under 50 seconds, the magical barrier, many believe, for women's 400 metre running. Under the 50-second barrier for the first time this year, 49.87 seconds. Already has a medal here, a bronze from the mixed 4x4 relay earlier at the Games. Nikisha Price from Jamaica goes in lane number 8. Alison's mentioned her, the new Jamaican record holder, taking that record off Lorraine Fenton after 22 years. Fenton herself was an Olympic silver medalist back in Sydney 2000. And Miklos of Romania goes in lane number 9. So Lavia Nielsen in lane number 7, Alison Kirbishley, has an opportunity here to continue her rise of form and get herself into the Olympic final, a lane inside Price of Jamaica.
Yeah, I mean, sandwiched in between two absolute talents in the world champion and Olympic silver medalist from Dominican Republic, Paulino, and as you said, the world lead, Nikisha Price, who's off the back of a phenomenal NCAA season, a collegiate season. She has raced so much, and our own Amber Anning is in her team, University of Arkansas, so she knows Nikisha very, very well.
Price goes in 8. Nielsen, the British athlete, goes in 7. Semi-final number 2, the first two, you know by now, they go to the Olympic final on Friday. Right, I'm going to tell you what happened there, because my eyes were purely on Lavia Nielsen. Lavia Nielsen twitched, but Lavia Nielsen stayed in her blocks. The gun then went, but Lavia Nielsen, the British athlete in lane number 7, was still sitting in her blocks, and the starter has recalled semi-final number 2.
And we wait to see whether that twitch that you did spot is actually given as a false start. We can only hope that it isn't. No, I mean, her reaction time is 0.4, so absolutely there's no one on our reaction time that is showing underneath a tenth of a second. The starter's having a shocker tonight. I mean, I'm going to say it. We had Cole Hocker with a shocker last night, but it's the starter tonight, because it, you know, athletes will be sitting in the warm-up track, and a lot of athletes, particularly the sprinters, will have the sound of the stadium pumped through, and they'll be practicing their starts, because usually the same starter will do throughout the evening. So you just try to get into the rhythm. But I don't remember any of the evening sessions yet being so long in the hold.
Well, discussions have been had by those in the black long trousers and the white shirts. And the officials come on to the purple track here, standing in lane number 7, but it's not a red card in the face of Lavia Nielsen. The Enfield and Haringey athlete stays in lane number 7. She looks down at the track. Nielsen in 7. And once again, the athletes are brought to the start line for the second semi-final of the women's 400 metres. The second semi-final with drama before we've even got underway. Camera focusing on Nikisha Price of Jamaica. 48.57 seconds she ran in the London Diamond League a couple of weeks ago. That was the 7th fastest time ever in the world. She settles into her blocks in lane number 8, one lane outside Nielsen of Great Britain. A clean start at the second time of asking. Price moving nicely. Price shorter in stature than Lavia Nielsen. She's a couple of inches shorter, but the bright black, green and gold of Jamaica flying down the back straight in lane number 8. Nielsen's getting passed by Paulino from the Dominican Republic on the lane inside her. And at the 200 metre point, I'd say Paulino is leading this one. 49.27 seconds this year for the Dominican Republic athlete. And she's going to swing into the home straight, leading this second semi-final. Lavia Nielsen, though, running well in lane number 7. She's currently in 3rd position, the British athlete. Holmes of the USA, though, has overtaken Lavia Nielsen. Nielsen now in 4th place, and he's trying to finish strong, but with a 10-metre victory. Paulino, 49.22 seconds. She takes semi-final number 2. And the rest of the athletes, Alison Kirbishley, looking up at the huge screen here in the Stade de France that sits under all the flags of the nations. And they're looking to see, and Alexis Holmes finishes in 2nd, the American, with 50 seconds exactly.
And it looks like Lavia Nielsen is going to be confirmed in 3rd place, 50.69, and agonisingly she's outside of Lika Klaver's position of the 4th place of 50.44 from the previous heat, so she's not as quick as there, but they're massive shock there is in 4th place, Nikisha Price, the world lead. Now, I mentioned her season, her very, very long season, the collegiate season that she's had. Was that just one race too many? Because all of a sudden, that was a different Nikisha Price we saw in that semi-final. She looked tired.
It looks about 2 or 3 weeks too early, wasn't it? Her last race at the London Diamond League, I mentioned, when she ran 48.57 and has come here, and as Alison said, the Jamaican in 4th place, as Polino is waving to the friends and family, Cam Kelly, that we have, that we love when the athletes cross the line. Wherever they are in the world, they put their friends and family up on the screen so that they can wave and say hi.
Talking of friends and family, Victoria Hurugu has been talking to Sarah Mulkerrins.
Well, Victoria, how was that semi-final for you?
It was very tough. I mean, as expected, we're at Olympic Games. It was tough. I could definitely feel the 2 rounds of the 4s in my legs. But I did the best I could. I would have liked for a slightly quicker time, but I left it on the track today.
You got that season's best, obviously, in that repechage. What can you take kind of long-term from these games for you now?
I mean, I managed to kind of run my best at these games. It was tough with 2 rounds before in my leg, but I mean, yesterday was a great performance. I wish today could have been a bit quicker, but it's been a good experience so far, and I'm looking forward to the relay.
Well, the best of luck in that. Appreciate you stopping.
Great, thank you very much.
That was Victoria Hurugu speaking to Sarah Mulkerrins, and Christine was listening. As she said there, Christine, it's pretty much how you summed it up after her semi-final, which is that she's run her best at these games. She has run a season's best at these games, not necessarily in that semi-final, but she said she's left it all out there.
Of course, and I think that's what you want athletes to do. You want them to come to the big occasion and perform at their best, whether it's a season's best or a personal best. We know that championships are difficult, not just because of the atmosphere, but the fact that you actually have to run 3 rounds. And oftentimes, if you are running season's best throughout the rounds, it does come back to bite you sometimes, especially if you have very, very short recovery. So, but all you have to do as an athlete is just to prepare for the best regardless. You've got to prepare to do your best. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen, but you must always prepare to go and deliver your best regardless.
And especially, as she said, because there was repechage, and it just takes that extra bit out of you.
It does. The repechage is a great idea, but it can really tank your competition if you're not careful. But I love the idea. I think for people to still have another chance to go out and compete, but you don't want to be in that position in the first place. Yeah. But it's a great idea. I do really like it.
And still the relay to come.
Yes, the girls have the relay to come. I'm not sure if Latvia will make it into the final, but she already has a bronze medal and they have the relay, so still a lot more to play for.
Yeah, I think when we've looked at the times, Catherine Merry and Alison Kirbishley looking at me and saying that Lavia Nielsen has not made the time completely to reach the final.
She'll be very upset.
Of this women's 400 metres, and the final semi-final about to get underway, and there is British representation in this one as well.
Yeah,
Catherine Merry. Alison Kirbishley.
No, I was just going to say our third opportunity to get it in, and I guess Amber Anning has a real opportunity.
She does.
She's looked fantastic, and she was with your coach
Let's
as well,
go, Amber.
Lloyd.
Yes.
I knew that.
Yes,
and,
Amber would come to London all the way from Brighton to train, and just completely committed. And yes, she has to get through to this final. She has to.
Yeah, I met her family. Were all at the British Championships. I had a lovely chat with her mum, and she's such a wonderful, wonderful person, Amber. And
she's broken some really good records.
Well,
as
and
well.
she's got one in her sights, and I'm not going to mention it.
I did message her, but I said, Amber, I love you, so it's all good. It's all good.
Exactly.
It's all good.
She's taken my British indoor one, Christine. So we're in the same team here.
And she's knocked me well out of the top 10. So I'm not even on our statisticians'
but we
top
wish
10.
her well.
But we wish her well. Go well, Amber.
We wish her well.
Just the reference there for folks listening with us on 5 Live here. The British record is 49.41 seconds, and it belongs to the Olympic champion Christine Hurugu. from Moscow and those World Championships in 2013. Let's meet the lineup then for the third and final semi-final of the women's 400 metres. Amber Anning, based out in the USA, goes in lane number 6. 49.51 seconds this season, 49.68 seconds to qualify for the semi-final. The athletes are brought to their mark. Kaczmarek of Poland, the new European champion, goes in lane number 7. She's around 48.90 seconds this year. Stacey Ann Williams of Jamaica as well, just outside 50 seconds. They're the threats in this one. Williams of Barbados in lane number 4 is also a threat in this one, with another long hold by Mr. Starter, but we are underway, and Amber Anning in lane number 6 is absolutely flying. She's cut back a little bit of the stagger here already on Kaczmarek, the Polish athlete outsider, in lane number 7. Barbados' Sada Williams moving nicely in lane number 4, but at the 200 metre point, Amber Anning looking good. Now Kaczmarek responds, the Polish athlete. Round the top bend, past the female pole vaulters. Their Olympic final continues, but this is a two-way battle at the moment between Amber Anning of Great Britain and Natalia Kaczmarek of Poland. They are neck and neck with the British athlete looking to secure a good lane here, but as is Kaczmarek. Kaczmarek leads. No, Amber Anning leads. This is going to be a photo finish. And Kaczmarek from Poland in lane number 7 knew what lane draws are up on offer and maybe has just dipped out Amber Anning for the victory in the third semi-final. 49.45 seconds for Natalia Kaczmarek. The Polish athlete is through. Amber Anning of Great Britain and Northern Ireland, 49.47 seconds. She's in the Olympic 400 metre final, and Christina Hurigu's British record is missed by 6/100ths of a second, Chrissy.
It's safe, Chris, for another 2 days.
What a great run.
Wasn't
Great
it
run.
just?
Great run. She's so confident, and she's just had such a very, very convincing, emphatic season so far, and this is just, we're not there yet, but to get into an Olympic final after the season she's had, brilliant, absolutely brilliant. She's so confident, such a beautiful runner.
Tell us, Christine, when you look at her run, and tell our 5 Live listeners, why is she so good? When you look at her, what is it that makes Amber Anning good from your point of view?
From how she used to run, she's very efficient. So her lines are very clean. She's not going side to side. 400 metre runners, when we get tired, you start rocking and rolling because we're trying to go so fast and fatigue hits you. But if you notice through the home straight, it was very, 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 very well balanced. She's very upright as well, so she's not leaning too far back, not leaning too far forward. She's very tall but really long legs, and she really uses that to her advantage. And it just looks like a very clean cut race and very strong. Very, very strong runner, and it's definitely a huge improvement from how I know how she used to run. And she's confident too. When you're confident, it just looks sublime.
Christine, thank you so much for that, as Amber Anning makes it through to the women's 400 metres final, which will take place on Friday. We're going to get the news headlines in a second, but we should, Catherine Merry, explain what that huge roar was for inside the stadium, because it's another Olympic record.
They're like London buses, these things, aren't they? We've got 2 field event finals going on at the moment, and yes, there was 2 roars at the same kind of time, because Nina Kennedy has gone into the gold medal position in the women's pole vault final. The Australian went over a height of 4.90 metres, and hence the crowd therefore were roaring, because that puts her in the gold medal position as well. And then another Olympic record came in the men's discus, but this time it came from Roger Stoner of Jamaica. The 25-year-old has thrown 70 metres exactly and put Alekna Jr. into the silver medal position. That is a huge throw from the Jamaican to go into the gold medal position in this discus final.
Catherine, thank you very much. That was all working well, with all eyes on different parts of the stadium there, as several things were going on at once. But Catherine Merry keeping us across it all here at the Stade de France. We're coming back for the men's 400 metres final after the BBC News with Richard Foster.
the voice of the UK.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Thanks, Kelly. Good evening. The first prison sentences for violent disorder have been handed down to people involved in the recent rioting, which followed the killing of 3 young girls in Southport last week. The men, all from Liverpool, have been jailed for between 20 months and 3 years. Thousands of police officers across the country are preparing for another night of potential disruption, with reports that 100 gatherings have been organised. So far, it looks like counter-protests, anti-racism protesters, are outnumbering the far right. Amnesty International says a ruling that Shamima Begum can't challenge the removal of her British citizenship is deeply concerning. It's been reacting to the decision which was made by the Supreme Court. Shamima Begum had her citizenship revoked in 2019. She travelled to Syria as a teenager to join the Islamic State group. 6 new centres for children and young people struggling with their gender identity are to open in England within the next 2 years. The clinics are being set up following a review which found that kids have been let down by a lack of research and evidence on gender care. And temperatures could top 30 degrees in parts of the UK over the weekend and the early part of next week. The hottest weather will be in the southeast of England on Sunday and Monday.
5 Live Breakfast
with Rachel Burden and Rick Edwards.
Delighted to say that Josh Kerr joins us now morning.
One of the coolest parts of the experience for me, I was able to be voted as team captain for athletics.
When you do go to the party at the end with the other athletes, will you be wearing the glasses?
The lights are too bright, I guess, in the Stade de France.
We can talk to Sky Brown.
Actually getting that medal, being able to be on the podium, it's definitely crazy.
5 Live Breakfast.
Listen weekdays from 6 on BBC Sounds.
This is 5 Live Sport at the Olympic Games
With Kelly Cates.
on 5 Live and BBC Sounds.
And this evening, 5 Live Olympics is live from the Stade de France. And the next race on the track provides a very real gold medal prospect for Team GB. Matt Hudson-Smith is racing in the 400 metres final.
You don't train as hard, to just participate. And I think with myself, it would be a testament to the years of training and sacrifice and everything to not go there with the idea of medaling and winning. So I think with everything that I've gone through and everything I've put myself through this year, especially because I hate gym. I'm not even gonna lie to you, I hate gym. Gyms, I think I'll do running, I'll do 500s, I'll do 1000s, but gym for me I hate. I'm doing all this and I need to get that medal, man, because honestly, I've put so much time and effort in, sacrifice, and it'll just be a testament to myself, the team that I have, and family and friends just for backing me, really. So I think definitely my goal is to get the gold, but I've got so many great athletes to contend against, so obviously it's going to be hard, but I know when I'm healthy and when I'm fit, why not? I want to get that gold. I want to eat fish and chips and McDonald's all again. Then I want to, once it's all said and done and I look back, I want to be able to say I've inspired a lot of people. I also want my name in Birchwood, Harriers, on there, then just back straight. Because I've been eyeing that up since I was 14. I genuinely think, Olympic gold, I'll get that. So that's another reason for my motivation.
That was Matt Hudson-Smith talking about all the elements of motivation that are going into his prospects in the men's 400 metres final, which is going to get underway in around about 7 minutes' time. Catherine Merry and Alison Kirbishley are here as well. We're also joined by Christine Uhuragu. Christine, you know him very well, but just in terms of motivation, he seemed to talk about having his name on the track at Birchfield Harriers in the same breath as talking about winning an Olympic gold medal. It's all about what drives you on, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's often the small things that really do put that fire in your belly. I love the guy. I make no secret about it, and I'm just so proud of him. I think from where he's come to, and people doubting him and him almost doubting himself at times. I'm so proud of him. He's a completely different athlete now. Confident. He walks tall. He speaks clear. He articulates himself well. He knows what he wants. He's very definite about what he wants, which is completely different to how he was, 4 or 5 years ago. So, yeah, I'm immensely proud of how far he's come. Really, really proud of him.
And also, Christine, he's one of this generation of male athletes who talks very openly, honestly and emotionally about his mental health struggles and importantly about his mental health struggles.
It is. It's not really something that we like to talk about, especially men, and black men at that. So, yeah, I mean, I wasn't even privy to some of that, but when it came out, I was really, really encouraged by him being so vulnerable and open and, as he said, inspire other people. I know he wants to win, but he doesn't do this to be a pin-up boy, you know? He just wants to use what he's got to help others and to make others proud to be part of the sport and to achieve. And yeah, as I keep saying, I'm super proud that he's made it this far.
Kelly, I know we've been having a bit of fun with the whole comparison with Chariots of Fire, but that film was about achieving victory through self-sacrifice and moral courage. And I think if you just wrote that down, you could almost make an argument that you will be talking about Matt Hudson-Smith for all of the reasons that Chrissy's just said. And that's why we all love him. I don't think you'll find anyone that does not like Matt Hudson-Smith in the team. And the stars might align for him tonight. He's talking such a good game. There's a lot of guys in this field, and it's back to what we were saying with the men's 100 final. There's 8 men standing behind their blocks, all thinking they could be Olympic champion tonight, but only one knows he's going to be it.
Yes.
So let's hope that man is in lane 6.
Yes, of course. Let's hope.
And Christine, Alison said that a few times about Olympic champions, about standing there and knowing deep in your bones that it's going to be you. Did you have that feeling?
Yes, you have to have that feeling. You have to have complete, unshakable belief that you're going to do that. That drives every step, and it motivates every decision you make in a very short 49 seconds or 44, 43 seconds. It drives everything. So you have to stand there. And these guys have had 3 hard days. Some are tired, some know that they're not going to make it, some are determined to make it, and one person's going to succeed.
Alison, tell us the Chariots of Fire story and the comparisons.
Well, it was 100 years ago that Eric Liddell, the Flying Scot, came here to Paris as part of the British team and made the headlines all around the world because his refusal to run in the 100 metres on the Sabbath meant that he opted for the 400 metres. Now, the film makes it out that he only found out, they got the boat over to Paris, but he had found out a few months earlier. And I think, everybody that grew up, I grew up running for Scotland. I went on the Eric Liddell Memorial Camp over to China where he was born, and his parents were missionaries. And I learned the Eric Liddell story, and what an icon. And so 100 years later, can you believe we're in the same city, in the same championships, the Olympic Games, and Matt Hudson-Smith is lining up in the same lane as Eric Liddell.
Wow.
And here he comes in lane 6 as the athletes are introduced. Here is Matthew Hudson-Smith.
Let's go, Matthew. Come on, we can do this. Matthew, we can do this. We can do this, Matthew. Stay focused. Stay focused,
Christine,
Matt.
What does he have to do in terms of how he runs, what his qualities are? What does he have to do?
Matthew has to be very wary of the youngster outside him. It's not something you have to completely focus on, but you have to be aware of it. But at the end of the day, you have 8 runners with very unique styles of running, and it's almost like this cat and mouse throughout the race as everybody deploys their different tactics. But it's all going to come to play in the last 50, I reckon. I think it's going to be a very close race. And I hope Matthew gets the better of that very, very close race. I think
You're standing up. Are you ready to go?
I can't sit down. I can't. I'm surprised I'm not fallen onto the floor just yet. My legs are actually quite weak, but yeah. This is how I am. This is yeah, it's been a lot for today.
It has been an emotional evening, and we've not even got underway in the men's 400 metres final, but we're about to. Catherine Merry.
The athletes are poised for one lap of the purple track, one opportunity to go down in history with one Olympic gold medal up for grabs. Matthew Hudson-Smith is pacing around. He'll start in lane number 6. Chris Bailey of the USA goes in 2. Samuel Ogazi of Nigeria goes in 3. Michael Norman has won the world title before. The Danger Man, the American, goes in 4. Karani James of Grenada, the Olympic champion in London 2012, the world number 2 this year. Matthew Hudson-Smith of Birchfield Harriers and Great Britain and Northern Ireland, the European record holder, the world leader, goes in 6. Mazala Samakongo of Zambia ran a national record of 43.81 seconds to get to this Olympic final. He goes in 7. The American Quincy Hall goes in 8. The US champion trying to become the Olympic champion. And Jareem Richards from Trinidad and Tobago goes in lane number 9. The athletes are brought to their blocks. Can Matthew Hudson-Smith become only the 3rd British man ever to win this Olympic title? Or will potentially the USA win it for the 20th time? Samakongo of Zambia settles last into his blocks. The final of the men's 400 metres. And it's a clean start, and Hudson-Smith out well in lane number 6, as is Michael Norman, the fast American, in lane number 4. Norman's leading this one down the back straight. The American absolutely flying. Karani James, the 2012 champion, going well in lane number 5. Jareem Richards on the outside in lane number 9, moving nicely. Matthew Hudson-Smith kicks around the top bend. He's putting himself in a medal position. It's Richards leading. It's Matt Hudson-Smith in silver. Karani James chasing the British star. Into the home straight. Jareem Richards on the outside leads. Matthew Hudson-Smith has put himself in the gold medal position. Quincy Hall from the USA is chasing down the Briton. It's going to be on the dip. It looks like Quincy Hall from the USA with a time of 43.40 seconds is the men's 400 metres Olympic champion. Matthew Hudson-Smith looks up at the screen and shouts with frustration, but immediately goes over to Quincy Hall to say well done. A European record by Matthew Hudson-Smith of 43.44 seconds for the silver. Samakongo a national record for the bronze, but in the dying few metres of that Olympic final, Quincy Hall pulled back Wolverhampton's finest and took the 20th gold medal for the USA in this event. It's silver for Matthew Hudson-Smith.
24 hours on, an American has done it to a Brit again. Quincy Hall, where did you get that last? And you hear the bell in the background. Where did you get that last surge? He was coming, and the line couldn't come quick enough for Matt Hudson-Smith. 4/10 of a second. 4/10 of a second. And look at the times of the first 5 athletes, all under that magical 44 seconds. PBs, national records, all across the board. Matt Hudson-Smith, what a run. He threw it all out there. He really did. 43-44. Hold your head up high. You're an Olympic silver medalist.
It's the 8th medal for Great Britain and Northern Ireland since the Games started in 1896. An area record for Matthew Hudson-Smith by 3/10 of a second, but loses the gold, but wins a very fine Olympic silver medal, running 43.44 seconds. One stride from the line.
Christine, it's a silver medal for Matthew Hudson-Smith. It was a European record that he ran. Quincy Hall had to run a personal best time in order to beat him. It went right down to the wire. It was such a great run from Matt Hudson-Smith. It won't feel like that right now, though.
I know. I think he did nothing wrong. Quincy Hall ran. That was beautiful. To come back like that in the last 50, that's... we know when he came like a steam train. Matthew, silver medal, European record. Brilliant time. I mean, these times are not slow times. These are not slow times. I know he'll feel disappointed, but I hope he'll take heart from the fact that he worked it right to the line. He gave it everything he could. Everything he could.
Can I just say, Christina Hurrigu has said it's not slow. They are the 3rd and 4th fastest times in history.
Yes, wow.
43.40 seconds for Quincy Hall. That is absolutely outstanding. Wade Van Niekerk, Michael Johnson, Butch Reynolds, Quincy Hall has gone 4th, and Matthew Hudson-Smith with 43.44 seconds, just behind and ahead of the great American Jamie Warriner. Outstanding race.
And Christian, you might not want to hear this right this second, but was that Quincy Hall finish a Christina Hurrigu style finish?
You know, I always told Matthew, because he does love to run ahead from 300, but I said that when you're out at the front, you are there to be chased down. You can never forget that other people will be looking at you and using every bit they can to chase you down. So you have to fight to that line, and it was a good race. He did nothing wrong. It's just how it ended up today. But I hope he's phenomenally proud. I mean, they've all cemented themselves in the record books, and what a result to go home with. What a result.
But it's as we said earlier when Bianca Cook was here, and the nature of elite athletes means that it's always about what could have gone better. And when he sits down to analyse this race, he'll be looking at all those tiny moments, those tiny aspects that maybe he could have tweaked.
It's a blessing and a curse, unfortunately. It's a curse that we will never rest. We never rest. It's great to look at the details and to find where you can get those extra edges, but you'll never let it go. You'll never let it go. And I think that's his dad. But
so
yeah,
he's weeping, isn't he? And that's his dad giving him a hug.
I'm for him to have gotten this, but I know it was gold he wanted, and I know that's what we work towards, and he's fully deserving of this. But you can't beat that. That was phenomenal, and I just hope he's proud of that, of what he achieved today. I mean, I am, so.
Everybody is, and as Keely Hodgkinson said even before this Olympic Games, Kelly, that sometimes you can do everything right and still not win. You only have to look at that race and what Matthew Hudson-Smith has done to know that he did everything right, and it just wasn't his day. It was 0.3 of a second personal best for Matt Hudson-Smith. It was a 0.4 of a second lifetime best for Quincy Hall, and Matt Hudson-Smith made him have to run the third fastest time and that massive personal best.
And we said this, and we say this before lots of the races, Alison, all you can do is perform better than you have ever performed in your life. Exactly. And that's what Matt Hudson-Smith did.
Exactly, and honestly, we could have been sitting here last night saying exactly the same thing about Josh Kerr. Josh Kerr ran a national record, his best time ever. That's exactly what Matt just did, bettering his own personal best, which also lowered his European record and British record. He was in such a world-class field. The times that we saw there, I mean, all day we've been talking amongst ourselves about what it would take to win, and even with our own NBC colleagues, Atto Bolden and Sanya Richards-Ross, who had many battles with Chrissy, and everyone was of the agreement that this was going to be one of the quickest 400-metre finals that we ever saw, and it absolutely was. Yes, okay, it wasn't the world record that we saw from Wade Van Niekerk in 2016, but it wasn't far off. And the quality of the field, pushing each other on. I really do hope Matt holds his head up high. He'll be so disappointed tonight. But he said it himself. He said, it's going to take a world record to beat me. Well, it wasn't quite a world record, but it was nearly.
And Catherine, Birchfield Harriers will be proud this evening as well.
Oh, of course. I'm the club president.
Can his name still go up?
In my opinion, it would. Of course it would, yeah. We have a rich history in the Midlands at our club, of course, with the likes of Denise Lewis winning Olympic gold, and Matt's now trumped me by winning Olympic silver, so my name will not be going on the stadium with a poor bronze. But no, of course we're all proud of him. Everybody in the West Midlands is proud of him, Wolverhampton is proud of him, and the whole of GB are proud of him as well, and Christine summed it up wonderfully well. It was an outstanding race. He could not have done any more.
And Matthew Hudson-Smith comes away from the men's 400 metres final with a creditable silver medal that we are very much hoping that he's going to be able to appreciate and to celebrate in the coming days, months and years. We've got the men's 3,000 metres steeplechase to come very shortly. Let's focus on boxing for a moment, because Lewis Richardson earned a bronze medal for Team GB last night at 71 kilograms. Earlier, he went to our base at the Paris Café and caught up with Julien Laurent and Mark Chapman.
Just a little cut still under your eye that bled a little bit last night.
Should have seen the other guy. Didn't have a mark on him. Obviously great bout last night. It's always a difficult dynamic in boxing, because you win your quarter-final to secure a bronze medal. So I won my quarter-final on Saturday night against a Jordanian, and then you sort of have that euphoria of knowing you've secured a medal, but then you have to sort of regroup, go again in the semi-finals to try and get a place in the finals to fight for silver or gold. Unfortunately, it didn't go my way last night. So it's initial disappointment from the result, but also in hindsight, you've got to remember that on Saturday night I achieved a massive dream to win an Olympic medal. I earned that bronze medal. It certainly wasn't given.
100%. And actually on that, and we talk to so many athletes at these games talk to sports people all the time about pressure. So when you win that quarter-final, is there a release of pressure? And then you go back into the pressure because you're thinking, I really want the gold or the silver.
Yeah, 100%. And that's sort of the how you sort of deal with that is a challenge in itself, So it's just the overriding emotions of sort of euphoria or adrenaline pumping up and down, and you see it being, yes, I've created this stage. So we win in your first fight, you have a massive sort of release of pressure, and it's like, okay, first one's out of the way, we can start flowing and relaxing now. And then winning my second one, quarter-final, securing the medal, and then it's transitioning to like, okay, pressure's back on because I want to get to the Olympic final. But ever so close.
Are you quite a philosophical individual then?
What makes you say that?
Well, I just wondered whether you're quite calm about what happened last night.
Yeah, do you know what? Especially in the last 12 months, I've been a lot more process-driven rather than results-driven. Sort of worked on myself, physically, always continue to work on yourself, but also worked on myself sort of mentally and sort of developing a stronger mindset, but also sort of getting a little bit more comfortable and sort of welcome and supportive to myself, because it's so hard what we do, so you don't need to put added pressure or added expectation or sort of added weight onto yourself. So that has been a focus of mine, and I'm extremely proud of what I've achieved.
Did something switch 12 months ago?
Do you know what? I was actually in a little bit of a rut because I had an injury, but also there was got announced that my initial weight category, my natural weight category, middleweight, which is 75 kilograms, was cut from the Olympic Games. So I was
71.
Yeah, so I was in a little bit of a no man's land, a grey area. I was almost too big for 71 and too small for light heavyweight at 80. Just had a bit of a lack of direction, lack of purpose, and I was like, okay, what can I do here? And whilst I was keeping fit, although my hands were injured, I was keeping fit. I was running half marathons and doing something physically to keep myself, mentally strong. I wanted to sort of look within and understand myself a little bit better. So I seek some psychological support, sports psychologist, but also sort of clinical psychologist. And believe that really sort of developed me into a much better, more importantly, a much better person, as well as a much better boxer. And this year for me has been, by far the best year of my life, from a sporting perspective, but also from a just sort of within perspective. I just feel extremely proud and sort of fulfilled, and the best year of my life, and long may it continue.
I didn't know you a year ago, so I don't know what to compare it to. But throughout this Olympics, every time I've seen you either fight or be interviewed, you look like you take everything in your stride now.
Yeah, a massive focus of mine. This is literally my dream. Where I'm at right now is my dream. So for me, it wasn't about... it wasn't always boxing. It was just the Olympics. What the Olympic movement, what it has to offer, and just the power of sport. And seeing, growing up as a youngster, seeing people in their Great Britain tracksuits and being like, wow, I would just love to be that guy. And
And now you get that text or email every day telling you what colour T-shirt you have to wear
yes.
because you all have to have the same colour T-shirt on.
Yeah.
Even those little things like that must put such a smile on your face.
It's a real team element. Team GB, I'm so proud to represent Great Britain, and Team GB have really made this feel like it's a home games for us. Obviously being so close, but also having friends, family over as well. It's been an amazing experience. Like, I'd say up there with the best few weeks of my life, but certainly as a collective, the process for me this year has been it's been absolutely wonderful.
We were chatting off air just before we came on, and you said that you wanted to go to the 100 meters. You went to the Riener Nights, like us.
Oh, you were at Riener, were you?
Because you wanted to experience that side, right?
Yeah.
You could have stayed in your bubble like a lot of athletes do before the event starts, but no, you wanted to experience it differently.
I want to be really present, and I want to soak every experience up. So even when I qualified, I wanted to be present there, which was a few months ago, but then heading to kit and out day and then moving into the Olympic Village, a holding camp before the Olympic Village. Every single moment, every day these last few weeks has brought a new experience, a new memory for life. And like last weekend, I secured an Olympic medal on Saturday night, and then Sunday night, 24 hours later, I'm at the Athletics watching the most iconic, the best race in the world in a 100 metre men's sprint. So it was such a special weekend, and unfortunately I didn't get a result last night, but I'm proud of my performance. I believe I showed humility in and out of the ring, so I hope I'm proud, but I hope the country are proud and can get behind me also.
That was Lewis Richardson, bronze medalist for Team GB, and we're joined by our boxing team's Jonathan Overend, who's at Roland Garros, where the boxing is now being held. I found that interview so interesting, Jonathan, because as much as he talked about the fight itself, he talked about the way that he approaches things, the way that he was able to ask for help, to seek psychological support. He's got a distinction in his master's degree in sports business management. He's a very rounded human being, as well as being an incredible fighter.
No, I completely agree with you, Kelly. And a 6-minute conversation there about a really controversial judging decision last night, and yet 20 seconds was about that. And that was his choice, wasn't it? If he'd have brought that up, the rest of the interview, I'm sure, would have been around the controversy. But the reality is he wants to talk about other things. He seems very, very calm, seems to have a very, very mature head on his shoulders, and he says, I'm about the process, I'm not about the results. Although it has to be said, because he won't say it, it was a rotten result. I thought he won that final round. Most people I read this morning who watched the fight thought he won the final round, and had one of the two judges who had it even after 2 rounds, had they given him the final round, then he would be in the gold medal bout. He was really unlucky last night, but glad to hear he's dealing with it so well.
And he was sort of in between the two weights, wasn't he? Because his preferred category was removed from the Olympic programme, and so he was describing how he had to drop the weight in order to drop into a different category.
Yes, and that's really interesting in itself, because he didn't necessarily have to drop. He could have gone up. He could have gone up to light heavyweight, but clearly it took a lot of toll on him to come down in weight to get to 71 kilograms. But I thought he looked right at home in that division. He won 2 fights. He won them really well. And last night he fought this wily Mexican who was throwing blows all over the place. So much activity from the Mexican, but I thought he dealt with it really well. And the more accurate blows, I felt, came from Richardson, even though there were fewer in total. So he really acquitted himself well at these Olympic Games, and hopefully it's not the last we hear of Lewis Richardson.
And even after that decision, he's a bronze medalist, and I know you said it's all about the process and not necessarily about the end product for him, but he does come away with an Olympic bronze. But tonight, Jonathan, it's the women's 57 kilogram semi-finals, and we're getting to see the Taiwanese boxer Lin Yuting.
Yes, she's in the ring at the moment against her Turkish opponent Esra Yildiz Karaman. Now Lin Yuting, along with Iman Khalif, who made the final last night in her weight division, the 2 fighters at the centre of this eligibility row, which has really dominated the 9 days of boxing competition so far. But Khalif received tremendous support inside Roland Garros last night, not just from the Algerians in attendance, but I felt there was a real international show of solidarity for Khalif, who absolutely dominated her semi-final, and she'll fight for a gold medal on Friday. And certainly Lin Yuting looks well on her way to doing the same in her weight division, because she won the opening round against her Turkish opponent on all 5 judges' scorecards.
And the semi-finals of the super heavyweight, and this features, well, it's Bakidir Yalalov, but it's the big Uzbek.
Yes, well, where's Bunsey when you need him? You know, we could have just brought him along tonight just to say it's the big Uzbek, because Bakidir Yalalov, who won gold in Tokyo, is back winning again in the super heavyweight division, and in his 3rd Olympics he has the chance to make a 2nd successive gold medal bout. Also tonight there is a Ukrainian on going for gold medal, looking for the nation's 3rd gold of the games. That's Alexander Kshizlak. And before that, Sofiane Oumehad tries to win gold for France. Silver medalist for Rio. He tries to go one better 8 years on. And this place was really rocking last night, Kelly. That's because half of Ireland was in here. But it's full again, I have to report tonight. Just brilliant to see 15,000 people in for Olympic Games boxing. And the French are hoping to celebrate a 13th gold medal for their team overall at their home games.
Jonathan, lovely to talk to you, and looking forward very much to listening to you and Bunsey a little bit later on. But for now, thank you very much to Jonathan Overend. We'll hear from him and Steve Bunce very shortly. We are heading into the start of the men's 3,000 metres steeplechase. There is all kinds going on inside the stadium, though. Catherine Merry.
There is indeed, and our 2 field event finals this evening have just concluded before our men's steeplechase final gets us underway, and it's the first gold for 2 different countries. In the men's discus, Rodri Stoner of Jamaica threw an Olympic record to get Jamaica's first gold medal here in athletics in the Stade de France. He beat world record holder Michaelas Alekna of Lithuania into the silver, with Matt Denny of Australia picking up the bronze. And just finished up in the women's pole vault, a first gold medal in track and field here for Nina Kennedy from Australia. She didn't qualify for the final, Kelly, 3 years ago in Tokyo, but with a first time clearance at 4 metres and 90, she is the Olympic women's pole vault champion. Katie Moon, the defending champion, picked up the silver, and Alicia Newman of Canada the bronze with 4 metres and 85. Molly Caudry will not want to see that result, because her world lead was 4 metres and 92, and gold has gone down under to Australia with a height of 4 metres and 90.
So coming up to the start of the men's 3,000 metre steeplechase, and without wanting to go full partridge, Alison Kirbishley, we're asking these athletes to run 3K, and then halfway around we're going to make them jump a hurdle, and then the other half of the thing, we've got a massive puddle for them to go through. Not making life easy for them, are we?
Well, you know, whatever a horse can do, a human can do just as well. So yeah, this is the brutal event of the steeplechase, and we really did see how brutal it was in the heats, because the young 21-year-old Serum from Kenya actually kind of got muscled out as he was coming into the water jump, and he came off the track on the inside, missed the water jump, and then ran back, because he ended up in the photographer's melee, ran back, took the water jump, and then ran like the absolute clappers to make up the field and qualified for this final. Now, he is one of the better athletes in there, but my, what his legs will have in them. I don't know how he's recovered from that, but yeah, I mean, it's all looking towards the Moroccan El Bakkali, this has been his title. He's the defending champion, and no Moroccan has ever defended their title. And when you think of the likes of El Garouj and Awita, it's going to be a tough one for him.
Well, it is. The gun goes then. Here we go, the final of the men's 3,000 metre steeplechase at the Olympic Games here in Paris. An Olympic Games in track and field that's given us so many wonderful races and battles so far on the track and in the field. And this men's 3,000 metre steeplechase is being strung out early doors, Alison. And it doesn't look like they're messing around, because this could be quick here this evening.
Yeah, I think they know it has to be quick, and more so because Bakkali, no one knows what shape he's in. We've only seen him run once, and that was in his home country of Morocco at the Diamond League earlier this year. We know he's been injured, and he must be injured because he didn't come out after that early June racing. And to think, we're nearly 2 months on from that now, you know, an athlete comes under the peak of in the peak of their career, and you need to come to a championships race ready, and he clearly isn't. There's a trio of Ethiopians in here, and Girma, the world record holder, will be wanting to make it difficult for Bakali.
Sable of India, the early leader of this one, the Commonwealth silver medalist in Birmingham a couple of years ago. He's gone for it, the Indian. Lifetime best of 8:09. Wale, though, in the mix. Genet Wali, the Ethiopian, one of those athletes that Alison mentioned. He's an 8:09 runner as well, fourth in Doha at the World Championships 4 years ago. And it is now Ethiopia that lead India with Faiwu as well. Samu Faiwu currently sitting in the third medal position, and Bakali is down in fifth. And the Indian athlete wanting to take the lead back, Alison, as we head around the first bend here. Those that are able are standing on their feet, having a treat again here tonight in the Stade de France.
Yeah, absolutely, and the Indian athlete is definitely making this quick. Ethiopia are enjoying having a pacemaker right now, with Bakali just hanging on at the back of the trio of Ethiopians.
This most taxing of races at the Stade de France very shortly, but Great Britain's Matthew Hudson-Smith missed out on an Olympic 400-metre gold by 0.04 of a second in a dramatic finish here. Hudson-Smith improved his European record to 43.44 seconds, but he was pipped on the line by American Quincy Hall in a thrilling conclusion. He's been speaking to Sarah Mulkerrins.
Matt, I know you wanted gold. It's Olympic silver in a brilliant time. You left it all out there.
Yeah, it's crazy. Honestly, sometimes the journey's better than the outcome, and it's been a hell of a journey. I'm just grateful. Came away with Olympic silver. Not many people in the world can say that. I've been a bridesmaid twice now. My time's coming, so I'm just happy. I'm grateful. It's just the start.
Good to hear you're happy. I know there must have been a lot of emotions as you were going around that lap of honour, meeting a lot of people who've supported your journey along the way.
Yeah, I saw my family. I didn't even know they were here.
Did you not?
It was a bit of a shock, really. But yeah, because I hate them watching me as well. I know my mum and my dad don't really watch me because they hate it just as much as I hate them watching me. So it's crazy that they came, and it's been a hell of a journey, man.
Well, it's lovely you had them there in that moment afterwards. Talk us through that race then for you.
I set it up exactly the way my coach told me to, and we knew it was going to come down to the last 50. I generally thought I had it. He had another gear. I hit the gear a little bit too late, and as he came up, he had one step on me, and that's it. But like I said, I was healthy. It's just the start, really. Time to build, and my time's gonna come. It's only a matter of time.
And could you feel Quincy Hall finishing as strong as he did?
No, I didn't. I thought I cleared the field, and I kept trying to quicken because I knew someone was gonna come. I didn't know who, but I wasn't trying to ease up this time. I was trying to run through the line, and he got me on the line, but it happens, I don't mind.
Well, I hope you take time to appreciate that Olympic silver and everything that you've done for it, and the times that you've run here tonight and all the hard work you've put in for that.
Yeah, it's been crazy. I'm so grateful. I'm so happy. It's just the start. I keep saying it's just the start. I'm healthy. We just got to keep building on it and go from there.
Well, congratulations, Matt.
Thank you.
Hugh Hudson-Smith reflecting on his silver medal winning run. Christina Huragu has been listening to that as well. Christine, we talked earlier about how much athletes will analyse their races and where they'll look for those differences. And what he said Quincy Hall kicked in. He said, and my final gear maybe came a fraction too late. That's the level of analysis, the level of detail he's going to be going into, isn't it?
Yeah, and I really hope he won't beat himself up over that. As you said, he couldn't see Quincy. By the time he realised he was there's not really much you can do. And there isn't anything you can do about that. So I really hope that he leaves it alone and enjoys his silver medal and knows that it was the best he could have done on that day. Quincy had the benefit of being behind him and timing his finish. That's just the dangers of when you are out in the front, you are a target, and people will run their hardest just to make sure that they beat you. But I hope he doesn't pick that apart too much. I really hope he doesn't. I really, really hope he doesn't.
Yeah, and as he said, it is just the start. He's feeling healthy, and he said just a matter of time. But he has the Olympic silver medal already. And earlier we had the semi-finals of the women's 400 metres. We'll bring you the latest of that, but we can rejoin Catherine Merry.
Yeah, a couple of laps to go in the men's 3,000 metre steeplechase final. As expected with the races at championships, it's starting to speed up a little bit. Koech of Kenya in the mix, Chemutai of Uganda in this one, and a trio of Ethiopians, and of course the defending champion El Bakali of Morocco, Alison, still in the mix in this one. About 15 metres covering the whole field as they go down the back straight and hurdle towards the 200 metre point.
Yeah, they've concertinaed quite a lot, because in that last kilometre, the second kilometre of this race, it slowed massively. They went from a 2:40 first kilometre to a 3 minutes 10. And it's even more difficult in this. We saw so many fallers in the 5,000 metre heats this morning, but in the steeplechase it really does matter, because they all need racing room as they approach the hurdle. But now, as they hear the bell for this time, with 1 lap to go, we've already got a faller. It looks like the Ugandan athletes already hit the deck, but Bakali now. We've got the Ethiopians hitting the front. It looks like Fairu, the weakest of the 3 Ethiopians, but Bakali now, is he going to try and get on the front of it? It's America again. He's feeling it. Rooks from America now hits the front, hurdles that hurdle down the back straight perfectly.
Kenneth Rooks down the back straight has a 5 metre lead on the rest of the world in this 3K steeple final. He looks over his shoulder. Oh, there's fallers over the barrier, but Rooks is not looking back. He's going into the water for the last time. Germa, the world leader and world record holder, has gone, but the American is leading this one into the home straight. Kenneth Rooks looks over his left shoulder. He's been overtaken by El Bakali, the defending Olympic champion from Morocco. This is a sprint to the line. 3 are clear, and the Moroccan 28-year-old has defended his title. But a silver medal for the USA with Kenneth Rooks as well. Wow, what an end to that men's 3,000 metre steeplechase. But Safane El Bakali of Morocco, 8:06.05, defends his title and is now the 2-time Olympic and 2-time world champion.
Drama. Wow. Bakali having to retain that title, being the first Moroccan ever to retain his title, but really distressing scenes on the back straight there, because Germa, the world record holder, really did hit the ground hard after going over that hurdle. And they're not like hurdles that we see in the 100 hurdles or 110 hurdles or 400 hurdles. These are bulky barriers, and he hit it hard and he went down. Bakali can't quite believe it. He was having his battle with Germa there, and it was just the fatigue in Germa's legs as he was trying to up the pace to keep on the shoulder of the American. Well, yet again, the Ethiopians do not get on the podium. Only 2 medals ever, despite the Ethiopians being some of the best steeplechasers we ever see. This has been a Kenyan event, but for the last 2 Olympiads, it's been a Moroccan event, and Bakali, having only had 1 race this year, is now the Olympic champion.
Well, Bakali's been mobbed by the Moroccan fans here. And Kenneth Rooks, what a run from the American, a lifetime best for the silver medal. Kibiwott of Kenya in bronze. And medical attention, Kelly, is still being paid to the world record holder on the back straight, who took that very heavy fall.
Yeah, concerning scenes on the far side of the stadium, and we'll keep an eye on that one as the celebrations for the gold medalist Soufiane El Bakali continue here inside the Stade. And day 13 of the Paris Olympics. Is this day 13 or day 12? What day is this? Day 12, isn't it? And that is complete. We're going into day 13 tomorrow. We'll look ahead to that in just a second. But in the men's 400 metres final, Team GB's Matt Hudson-Smith missed out on Olympic gold. It was a last-minute surge from USA's Quincy Hall. Hudson-Smith set a new European record as he took the silver medal. Britain's Amber Anning ran a personal best in her semi-final. It puts her very safely into Friday's women's 400 metres final. The newly crowned fastest man in the world, Noah Lyles, is safely through to tomorrow's 200-metre final. He'll be looking to complete the sprint double. And just as we speak, Lemaitre Girma, the world record holder in the men's 3,000-metre steeplechase, is now being stretchered off the track as he heads off for medical attention, to a round of applause from the crowd who are still inside the stadium. In the morning, fan favourite Katarina Johnson-Thompson gets her heptathlon campaign underway. She starts in the hurdles at 9:05 tomorrow morning. Alison Kirbishley, you will be here to see her get her heptathlon campaign underway.
Yeah, and I cannot wait. You know, it's, well, we were talking about it over lunch, weren't you? And you were saying, what's the chances? Look, she's lining up against a group of women that she's so used to competing against, no more so than the defending champion Thiam. She was missing last year when Katarina Johnson-Thompson took back her world title, and it's just been great to see her back healthy, back fit and loving the sport. She's now with Aston Moore, based in the UK. And Tokyo was such disappointment for her. Her Achilles injury meant that she DNF'd, did not finish the heptathlon 2-day event. And it was the end of day one, pulling up in the 200 metres. But Thiam has looked great, took the European title this year. Katarina Johnson-Thompson did go to those European Championships and withdrew herself. Nothing serious, but she just wanted to protect herself for this Championships. Anna Hall, the young find from America, who was on the podium behind Katarina Johnson-Thompson at the Worlds, is back from injury. She herself has had a knee operation, so has had, I think all of them are just plastered together and put on the start line tomorrow morning in the 100 hurdles. We'll see her in the first. When I think back to the first time I ever witnessed Katarina Johnson-Thompson, it was 12 years ago in that London 2012 stadium. She was the first British athlete that we ever saw in the stadium, and of course all eyes were on Jessica Ennis then. The fact that 12 years on now, she's coming here with hopes of a medal, I can't wait, cannot wait.
Christine, looking forward to this one?
I am. I saw Katrina in the holding camp, and she's just so lovely, and it was really good to see her in good spirits. I think she was a bit put out having to go the other side. We're used to seeing her on first, so she was like waiting, she's like, I'm still waiting. But no, I really love her, and I really do hope she does well this over the next 2 days. And I think she can get on the podium. She's got strong competition, as we would expect with the calibre of athletes that are contesting heptathlon right now. But yeah, I do believe that she's got a really quite confidence about herself now.
One of the highlights, I think, that Alison and Kath have been looking forward to is also tomorrow night, which is that showdown between Femke Bol and Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone in the women's 400 metres hurdles. I'd imagine you'll have your eye on that one too.
Yeah, this is one of the events I honestly cannot call it. I'm leaning more towards Sydney McLaughlin, but Femke, she's just very, very, very special. Very special athlete. But that will be incredible. I would like to think we could have a 3-horse race, but I don't think that can happen. That would be great for the event, but I'm not quite sure where the third challenger would come from.
And in terms of the lane draw for that women's 400 metre final, which is at 8:25 UK time tomorrow night, Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone, the American world record holder, goes in 5. Femke Bol goes in 6. It's going to be an absolute rip-roaring Olympic final.
And Christine, we've also got Laura Muir in the women's 1500 metre semi-final as well. I mean, she's looking to turn silver into gold. She's looking to be an alchemist tomorrow night.
She is, and she just has this really lovely, quiet energy about her. She doesn't always scream and make a fuss, but she's always thereabouts, and such a gutsy runner. I do love watching her run, and so fingers crossed everything goes well for her tomorrow. Yeah, loads to continue to get stressed about.
Do you know what? That's the thing. You have a stressful night this evening. You've got your sister in. You've got Matthew Hutchins-Smith, who is you kind of unofficially mentored him through his career. You've had such an emotional evening, and then we're turning to you at the end of it all and saying, "So what are you looking forward to tomorrow, then, Christy?" And you're like, "Frankly, it was just an achievement to get through this evening." We've loved talking to you. Thank you so much for joining us, Christine.
Thanks for having me.
Really good to talk to you. Alison, Kath, so much to look forward to, and a great way to end the evening, which is on a medal ceremony. We're about to see that get underway.
Yeah, just to end the evening with a gold medal for the United States of America. They are flying at this Olympics. Gabby Thomas is about to collect her gold medal in the women's 200 metres, 21.83 seconds, denying St Lucia's Julian Alfred the sprint double here, but she picked up the silver, and Brittany Brown of the USA the bronze. Nice. All the three medalists seem very, very happy.
Catherine Murray, Alison Kirbishley, pleasure as always. Let's do it all again tomorrow. That is us. That is it from us here at the Stade de France. Gordon Smart with you from 10 o'clock tonight, but next on 5 Live, with just a few days to go till the start of the EFL season, Aaron Paul and Joby McAnuff preview the Championship and League One seasons after the latest BBC News with Richard Foster.